So today I'm going to show you how we can generate this dungeon in Godot. So the way it works is we are going to use CSG meshes. When they overlap, they can connect. If you pick union, you can use intersection or subtraction, but we're going to use union. For that, we're going to need a CSG combiner and attach a script to it. Dungeon generation. We can delete all this. Then we need to add a tool at the top so we can run it in the editor. After that, we need some buttons so we can start the generation. Let's generate of the type bool. It's false. Then we create the function to run the code if we press the button. And that's generate dungeon. So now we can use like print, yes, to see it works. We save the chip on the dungeon gen. So now we have the button, and if we press generate, we first need to reload the scene. So, and then we can run our code here. Then we need another button, like to create hallways. Generate hallways. Let's make it like this so it's easier. Rooms, hallways, and then I want a button to delete everything. Delete dungeon. So let's reload this. Now we can press generate, rooms, create hallways, and if we delete it, we can delete it. Then we need some variables. First, the size of the overall dungeon. Then I want a variable for the room amount. Then one for the min room size. Then the max room size. And the mesh resolution. and then we need the material. Then we need some arrays. The first array is the array that contains the dungeon. Then I want an array for the connections. And we need another array for the connections. So in the generate dungeons, we do for I in range for the room amount. We get a random position. It's a vector 3 inside the size. For Y we get 0. And again for the size. Then if we can place the room, we get the render person. Can place with the position. We check if we already have a room, if not we just return. And else for D in dungeon. So as long there is like one room in the dungeon, you get the distance of the position and get distance to the position for the first room in dungeon. And if the distance is smaller than the max room size, we return false, so the rooms can't overlap. And there we need return true. So if we can place, we get a mesh. It's a CSG mesh 3D. Then the mesh of the mesh is a box mesh new. Then we get the mesh scale is a vector 3 of random range from the min room size to the max room size. For the height of rooms I'm just gonna use 3. And again min room size to max room size. Then we get the subdivide width is mesh.scale.x divided by the mesh resolution. And then we get the same for the subdivide depth. Is Z and subdivide height. Then we are gonna use the position to be the random position. The mesh.material is the export material, and we are going to use the flip faces. Is true. Then we're going to add the child. Then we are going to append the mesh to the dungeon and to the dungeon connections. I forgot the append. And in the delete dungeon, we are just going to use for I in dungeon I.Q3, and we are going to clear the dungeon array. And the same for the connections and the dungeon connection. Dungeon connections. So we need to reload the scene. And now we have 3 rooms. I'm going to adjust the values a bit. 56, 10, the min room size is 10, the max room size 20, and for mesh resolution I think 8 is pretty good. We leave the material empty for now. Yeah, now we can generate rooms and they are not overlapping. Then in the generate hallways, before that we need to connect rooms. Function get rooms to connect, get rooms to connect. And in the create hallways we need the get rooms to connect. Yeah, and generate hallways is connect rooms with room 1 and room 2 for now. In the get rooms to connect, while the dungeon connections size is bigger than 2, we get var room 1 is dungeon connections, and we just get Randy range from 0 to dungeon connections size -1. And the same for room 2. Then while room 1 equals room 2, we just get another random room, so we ensure that room 1 and room 2 are 2 different rooms. And then we call the connect room function with room 1 and room 2. And then we arrange room 1 of the array. So for each room, we always get 2 rooms and remove 1 room of the array. so we ensure that all rooms are connected. And then if dungeon connections size equals to, so while the array has at least 2 rooms, we always get 2 random rooms and erase 1, and when we have exactly 2 rooms, room 1 is the first room in the dungeon connections, and var room 2 is the second room in the dungeon connections. And we also call the connect rooms function with room 1 and room 2. And in the connect rooms, we get the direction 1 is room 2 position x minus room 1 position dot x, and direction 2 is room 2 position dot z minus room 1 position dot z. Then for the hallways, we get another CSG mesh. Mesh 1 mesh is another CSG box. The scale of the hallway is going to be a vector 3, and here we need the absolute direction dot x because the size can't be negative. And I'm going to add +3 for the x direction because the hallway size is going to be 3. If we don't add the +3, it's not connecting perfectly in the edges, but we are going to see that later. Then I'm going to use I'm going to subdivide by the mesh resolution for better performance, and then I'm going to bet the mesh position is going to be the position of room 1 plus the vector 3 of direction 1 divided by 2 and then 0 and 0. The position, the material is going to be the material. Then we're going to flip the faces and add the child, and to the connections append mesh 1. That's the first room from in the first hallway from room 1 in the x direction. Then we are going to get the same plus mesh 2 is just going to be not in the x direction but in the z direction. So direction 2 plus 3. And here we are going to get the position also in the c direction, direction 2 divided by 2. Oh. So I hope I didn't forget anything. And let's just click reload the scene so we can generate the dungeons. Okay, so I have some mistake. Ah, yeah, there's no .x in the direction because it's already the x value. And again, ah, yeah, I had CSG box and it's supposed to be box mesh new. I think that was the problem. So, okay, it's not perfectly, as it seems to be another error. Yeah, here we know we need minus because we have plus there, so the rooms properly connect with each other, or not. Yeah, and I need room 2 position and not room 1 there. Yeah, that looks good. So we can show the collision here. So we see the resolution of the mesh. If I'm going to use 1, we don't divide the resolution. We have many vertices, and if we create the hallways, Godot can crash if we have too many rooms or the rooms are overlapping too much. If you don't do it at all, there are sometimes like tiny bits, like there's missing an edge here, and I think 8 is the best value I think so far, because the generation is fast, but there's no weird connections from the CSG message. And if you want to apply a material, so we can use a new material, and for the albedo I'm going to use the texture. We can just enable tree-planar mapping, and if we create the hallways, now our dungeon has a material applied to it. Yeah, you can play with the values like 20 rooms and a bigger size. And I really like the dungeons we can get with this type of generation. And I think it's very easy because we don't need pre-traps for the different rooms with doors and everything. Because of the CSG meshes, we just connect them in the script. So I hope you liked the tutorial, and yeah, leave a like and sub. Thanks for watching.